Okay, I want to tell a little story about this guy I used to know. This guy I was in the army with named Eastridge. William Eastridge. And you want to talk about something else. If you wanted to make a something else list, that guy's something else list, this guy would be pretty high up on the list. Probably in my top five, as far as army guys go. Uh, I was with this guy at Fort Drum for basically the whole 4 years that I was in the army. He was in my battery the whole time. And, well, Eastridge was a pretty nice guy. I'm not going to lie. I had no personal issues with the guy. And I don't think a lot of other people did either. And, when he came back from Iraq, because he was on the deployment in '06 and '07, so he was coming back when I first got to Fort Drum. And he tried to, take me under his wing, teach me about the army, try to give me advice and shit, which I appreciated. But, after a while, I realized the advice was a little hard to take from him because he was one of the biggest shitbags in our unit. He wasn't a shitbag like he got in trouble all the time. He got DUIs, he beat his wife. Nah, nothing like that. But this guy was like pretty overweight. He was one of the more overweight guys in our battalion. And he had this big ass fucking stomach, this like beer belly, right? I don't think he ever passed the PT test. I think he was basically on like a permanent profile. And he was married and lived off post. And I don't know why the fuck he didn't just get dressed and get into his PTs at home and then come to the battery like everybody else. Nah, he'd show up at the battery in his civilian clothes at the barracks, and then he would need somewhere to change. And he's like asking fucking guys in the barracks like, "Yo, man, could I like change in your room?" And people are like, "Fuck no, Eastridge. Why don't you change at home?" But then he approaches me and Swanson when we were roommates. He's like, "Come on, guys, please." And, Swanson was kind of a nice guy. And I don't know. I didn't hate him. Whatever. I kind of felt bad for him. So we both kind of gave in and let him. So, like, every morning for a couple of months, he would change in our room. And I have to see his fat ass fucking stomach every time he'd take off his shirt. It's like, oh my God. Come on, man. And he would show up late for PT every single morning. And like 15, 20 minutes late, to the point where even the NCOs didn't bother to say anything anymore. It's like, whatever, Eastridge. You don't do PT anyways, you fat fuck. And yeah, whatever. But we had these guys in our battery named Cody Casey, and this guy Walker, right? And they were like the kings, the masters of making fun of Eastridge. They're the ones that started all the Eastridge jokes. And the main one was, now I don't know if he ever actually said this, it's still up for debate, but it was,
"Ow, so fucking fat. Ow, Eastridge. Ow."
and yeah, well, once they started that, Walker and Casey, the whole battery started saying it. And obviously, Eastridge never heard the end of it. And again, he would show up late, 15, 20 minutes late to PT every morning. And he'd always have a fucking Dunkin' Donuts coffee in his hand. So, Walker and Casey started referring to him as Bill Dunkin. And then this became his nickname.
Like, "Ow, I got my Dunkin' Donuts coffee. So fat. Ow, Bill Dunkin."
And somehow he lost his license or whatever. He didn't have a car anymore. So he couldn't drive to work from his house. So he started taking taxis. Now, I did the math one time. I calculated how many cab rides like per week this guy took. And it was like $800 or $900 a month, right? He could have easily afforded 2 new cars. Shit. But he just continued to take cabs everywhere. I guess he couldn't do math.
Ow, my taxi's almost here. Ow.
And just like shit like that. And the best one had to be where Casey, oh man, I can't even say. Casey goes one day, I never knew that the kid in the Lego My Ego commercial was William Eastridge.
Lego my ego. Ow.
And yeah, like I said, I almost wanted to feel bad for Eastridge, but he kind of, despite being a nice guy, just rubbed everyone the wrong way, especially because he was basically humorless. He had no self-depreciation. He couldn't laugh at himself or take a joke. And he basically walked around like a butthurt snowflake with a stick up his ass. Like, everyone makes fun of everybody in the military. Like, just grow a pair. Holy shit, you don't like being called fat? Lose some fucking weight.
Ow.
No, he didn't want to. So, I'll never forget. This is a couple years after I got out of the Army. And I'm going through my Facebook. And I'm still friends with Casey. And I see this video where Casey's daughter, I think she's about 3 years old at the time, and he's training this fucking little girl. He's training her to make fun of Eastridge, right? Like passing the torch to the next generation. What do you say? What does Eastridge say, sweetie? And then the girl goes, ow. It was like the greatest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Like, yeah, fucking passing the torch. Yeah, but I don't know. I haven't seen that guy since I got out. I have really no idea what he's doing. I talked to him on Facebook a couple of times, but not for very long, and he still really has no sense of humor and is not the easiest guy to talk to. But yeah, that is the story of Eastridge, aka Bill Duncan, the great William Eastridge. What a guy. What a fucking guy.